Today I will be talking about the religious or some titles that you need to translate. Titles relating to the word Lord, or the word Sheriff, or the word Senator. How do you do these titles? Even religious titles. But let me just first, when we're talking about senator, and which is how senators, Majlis al-Shuyukh, for example, in US. These are Majlis al-Shuyukh is not actually elected. They are not elected. Therefore, they have a title. In the Arab world, it's different. The titles are different from in the English world or the British or American. فمجلس اللوردات, House of Lords, is the same as مجلس الأعيان الموجود في الأردن مثلا, or مجلس العشائر الموجود في العراق, لأن الشيخ العشيرة and so on, ومجلس القبائل في السودان. And the word sheikh, which is sheikh in English, it is in Arabic different, and I actually covered it in one of my articles. I wrote an academic article about this, where the word sheikh has got different meanings in Arabic. Sheikh can be head of a tribe, Sheikh al-Qabila, or head of a sect, like Sheikh al-Ta'ifa, Sheikh Jumayl, for example, in Lebanon. The Sheikh Ta'ifa, it has no religious implications to it, the word sheikh. Also, the sheikh in the Gulf can mean also, petrol, those who are owning petrol wells and so on. Sheikh also, or sheikh also means somebody who is grown up or an old man. And the word sheikh as a verb, perhaps it's from grown old, possibly because going to the toilet a lot, perhaps because I know it's shakha is different from another word. When you go to the toilet a lot when you are an old man. This is, so the word sheikh or sheikh in English has got different meanings in Arabic. One of them is a religious person as well. For example, Fadilat al-Sheikh. And here, reverend is Fadilat al-Sheikh Hassan, for example, or a Sayyid. And there is the word Sayyid in the Arab world, Majlis al-Sada was Sayyid. It has the implication that it is descending from one of the disciples of the Prophet, من Ali ibn Abi Talib. There's also Majlis al-Ashraf, for example, al-Sharif in Mecca, Sharif Mecca. So these are different. Maybe the word Sharif and Sheriff in the English for the Amdat al-Shurta or Ra'is al-Shurta, maybe it's derived from the Arabic word, the word Sheriff, because Sharif means very honest person, and descending Sharif Mecca, for example, Majlis al-Ashraf. They tend to have, it's a position they have. In Arabic you say Fadilat al-Sheikh for sheikh who is a religious. So you say Fadilat al-Sheikh. Maybe you can say sheikh in English, they don't use it. They use for the priest, they say the reverend whoever. And that is relating to the bishop or a higher ranking in there. For example, سماحة السيد, رئيس الأساقفة, غبطة الأسقف, غبطة البطريرك, patriarch. This is relating to, of course, if it is a Catholic or Protestant, because Protestants would use Osquf and Patriarch will be used by the Catholics. So there's al-Mutran as well, Ra'is al-Qasawisa, and al-Qassis, and so on. So the al-Rahib also, which is the hermit, or yeah. So these are reverend. And then we have Qadasat al-Baba, the holy Pope. So these are really titles that we have to be very careful about. And you need to keep in mind that not always you can use, you can say Samahat al-Sheikh, for example, and for this, or Fadilat al-Sheikh. But I would say Samaha maybe for al-Mufti. Samahat al-Mufti, if it's for the whole nation, usually Samahat al-Mufti, which is the general attorney, really, as we call them in English, who is the highest level in terms of legally in the country, who will approve of certain legislations based on religious foundation. So these are really some of the titles that you need to be aware of and you need to be careful about, because when we say the word sheikh in English, for in Arabic, it means it's been respectable and very, very revered kind of person. Sheikh al-Qabila, Sheikh al-Ta'ifa, Sheikh Jumayl. But then, as I said, sheikh can mean very old man in Arabic. That's why it's can be misunderstood, because sheikh of a sect, like for example Sheikh Jumayl in Lebanon, he is not a religious person. He is just the head of a sect. Then you have عضو مجلس الشيوخ in America, Senate, and senators. Senators will not be called senator whoever, will not be called Sheikh Fulan in Arabic. You would say عضو في مجلس الشيوخ. You didn't say Sheikh in English. But in Arabic you can say Sheikh to mean the head of a tribe or head of a sect, and also an old man, and also a religious person. I hope that you've learned something from today's video about titles and how to translate them from one language to another. Of course, I remembered now also the word Mr. and Doctor and Professor. For example, in the medical field, by the way, in the medical field, what they do is in England, a consultant called Mr., not a doctor, even though he is a doctor. But if it's a junior, then he is called a doctor or a GP. GP, of course, general practitioner. يعني طبيب عام, طبيب الأسرة يعني GP, because he is connected to the family, knows all about the family's medical history. That's called a GP. But then you have doctor, and doctor in English is referring to either a doctorate in philosophy, like I'm a doctor in philosophy, but there is doctor who is a medical doctor. Now the medical doctor, there are ranks. When he or she is a consultant, istishari, then you say Mr. They call them Mr. They don't call them doctor anymore. But in the ranking of doctor in the academic world, you have a doctor, assistant professor, associate professor, and full professor. Ustadh, Ustadh Musharik, Ustadh Musaid. Ustadh Musaid is assistant professor. Ustadh Musharik is, which is higher, associate professor, and full professor, Ustadh. And then we have Ustadh Kursi, which is who's got much higher level than professor. So these are really, and we don't translate them as professor. We say Ustadh, because Ustadh is the highest level. Even though the word Ustadh is not an Arabic word, it's from Persian, I believe, but you use it. But you can see that the word Mr. in the medical field, when they say he's a Mr., that means he's a consultant. He's istishari and not a doctor. I hope that you've learned from today's video about titles and how to translate them. Of course, there is a lady and dame, which is a lady, a lord. You call them, you don't say as-sayyida. As-sayyida al-ula, of course, first lady, which is who is the wife of the president of a country, Sayyida al-ula, and then you have al-wasifa, as in the case of if there is a bridegroom, a bride, al-arus, and then al-wasifa, which is lady in waiting. So that is yet another element of titles that you need to be aware of and to consider. And when there is somebody who's Sir, a Sir, you translate it as Sir because it's a title which is given by the Queen to a person because he is a knight, knighted by the Queen. So you say a Sir Charles, a Sir, and then a Lord. There's a Lord, there's a Sir, all these titles. فلما نترجمها السيد, we say a Sir فلان, because that's a title being given by the Queen or by the King. That is for a Sir and Queen. There is the word Sire, which means سيادتكم, Your Highness as well. Your Highness. Of course, when it comes to ministers, سعادة الوزير, أو سعادة السفير, سعادة السفير, سعادة الوزير. دولة رئيس الوزراء means the Prime Minister, when they are addressing the Prime Minister. His Excellency, سعادة السفير, His Excellency. So this is a kind of there is also, of course, there is غبطة البطريرك وغبطة غبطة الأسقف, we have to know, and then قداسة البابا, which is the holy. I think I have covered quite a lot of these different titles, and what is interesting is the word Sharif in English could be from Sharif in Arabic, and Ashraf Mecca, Mecca's Sharifs. But here it's a title as well. Have a nice day.